All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Cluster API Operators community meetings. This is not the first one, but we are trying to organize more of these. And recently, we're able to get the dedicated Zoom room for the office hours. So we'll be using them in the future. Welcome to new attendees. Just a reminder, this meeting is recorded and then later will be uploaded to Kubernetes SIG Lifecycle YouTube channel. And yeah, with that we can, one more reminder, if you want to speak up, please use the Zoom's raise hand feature. And yeah, with that we can start. Also, feel free to add your names to the attendees list, and if you have anything to discuss, add them to the agenda. Okay, I think it would be good if we could introduce ourselves, maybe. There are some people, so I can start. My name is Furkat. I work for SUSE. We are mostly and closely working with CAPI community and building our product that has integration with Cluster API. I was involved in the CAPI community for around like 3 years or more. Yeah, I think that's me. Alex, you want to go next?
Yeah, hey, my name is Alex. I work for SUSE. I've been maintaining KP operator from the start of the project. Yeah, and I've been like KP in Kubernetes for maybe like last 4 years.
Feel free to go next.
I can go next. So, yeah, my name is Muhammad Ali. I'm working for Red Hat. I have been contributing to Cluster API community for Kaba providers and Cluster API core. Start contributing since January, and I'm working with Kubernetes like for almost 4 years now. So yeah, lately we're having interest in the Cluster API operator. So yeah, looking forward to start contribute to this project as well.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Hey guys, I'm Will. I work at New Relic. I've been working in the Kubernetes space for like a year and a half, basically. We're adopting this project at work, and I'm interested in contributing and trying to help out as any way I can.
Welcome.
Hey, so my name is Daniel. I'm working at SUSE. Also, we're working on the CAPI operator project in our spare time, trying to maintain it together with Furkat and Daniel. Alex, sorry. Anyway, I was working with Cluster API previously at Red Hat, now at SUSE. And glad to hear new people joining.
Yeah, it's good to see the new people and new faces. Welcome, everyone. Let's then move to the discussion topics. We have 3 of them today. More probably will be coming if you haven't listed them yet. The first one from Muhammad, why we have to constrain deploy providers to watch for all namespaces. Do you want to give more context on this?
Yeah, sure. So if you just click on the link reference here, so when we deploy the infra providers, the deployment start with if the namespace set as an argument, it ignore that, and just deploy the provider without being able to set the deployment to be scoped for a certain namespace if I want to do this. So I was just wondering if there are reasons for this, or it's just so the main reason for that I'm asking for is I have the same provider, but with two different versions. Like I have Kaba version 1.6 and Kaba 2.6. And for example, I want them to be running in the same cluster, but I don't want them to conflict each other or override the CRDs of each other. So like I want them to be only, running in a certain namespace. So the double recounseling not happening if I create a custom resource or something. So is there like a solution for this instead of the namespace? Is it clear so far what I said, or I'm not really articulated quite clear?
Yeah, I think I got the question. So regarding this specific line, I look at the git blame. It's 2 years old. I don't remember the historical reasons why it's there. Maybe we can remove this. It should be all right. But to the second part of couple different the same provider of the couple different versions on the same cluster is generally not the best pattern, since it causes issues with CRDs, because different versions of providers come with different CRDs, and I don't know if we can actually say we support this. And the same will also apply for just like if you use cluster cattle normally.
Okay, then. Okay, so it's like it was. So okay, so then we can like remove this namespace check then if it's for just avoiding the recounseling. So I mean avoiding double recounseling. So that's okay then.
Yeah, I think it should be fine unless someone has any objections, but I don't see why we should not do this. We can just drop this line.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure why we have it here, although I was just checking the original proposal of Capi operator, and actually this is the line I think that we have that was listed in the for the validation rules in the container spec. But I was not there when the Capi operator actually started in a proposal phase. So probably this is just a copy paste. Yeah, but I don't see any point why we should watch the whole space.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and I was also not involved in discussion for this proposal. And initially, we just implemented the operator just following what's written there. So we can drop this line. Like if it's written in the proposal, it doesn't mean that we cannot change it. We can just drop it.
Okay, cool then. That's really helpful.
Yeah, thanks. Muhammad, feel free to open a PR if you'd like to do so.
Yeah, of course. So so should I then create issue first and then create a PR to fix it? That's the way to.
Yeah, that's a proper way, but for this specific one, probably it's not really it doesn't work opening. But yeah, it's up to you. I'll leave it up to you.
Okay, no problem. That's okay. I can work on that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And yeah, next one is also from you.
Yeah, so for the second one is like in the same area of discussion. So when we do provider upgrade, I can deploy the core Capi and they want to upgrade it. So I was just wondering if there a way to make sure that the previously deployed custom resource will not get affected by the new version that is deployed. Like, for example, if the new version CRD is deprecating some fields or removing some fields, so that if the custom resource is deployed and the 3D like you using this one of remove the field, it's gonna cause some issues, or at least the end user should be aware when he do upgrade that, you know, this might affect the current running version custom resources. So yeah, so I'm having an idea to make a proposal for that. So I was just wondering if anyone faced this problem before, have similar thoughts before. No, is it clear so far the problem, or I need to?
Yeah, it's clear. What I would also want to say is that we are using cluster cattle as a library for managing CRDs. So like we didn't create our own version of it. We just import what is currently used by the KP CLI, and they have some logic there for managing CRDs. So I would say this should go into cluster cattle, not in operator. And once it's there, we will get it into operator by default.
So you say it again, it should go with where?
To the cluster cattle library.
Okay, and what is that? Like, is this part of the cluster EVI operator, or?
It's a CLI tool as part of the cluster API, not the current operator.
Yeah, okay, you mean cluster, okay, cluster cutter, okay, so it's a part of the cluster API, but yeah, okay. And I wasn't aware of that. And then it's doing this merge of CRD upgrade if there is like a new version of the CRDs for all the providers as well, or is it just for core CAPI?
It does it for all providers that it installs.
Okay, that's but what if I'm not using I'm not sure, sorry, I'm not aware of the cluster control. So what if like I'm not using the command, I'm just using everything by like just creating my custom resource like the infrastructure provider or core provider. So does the library get involved in the same process of just creating a CR and upgrading it or checking the CRDs?
So yeah, there is a part of the code. I found it. I will paste the link in the doc for the part that's responsible for upgrading CRDs when you upgrade a provider. And I think that's all that is there, and it's what we are using underneath. 1 second. I'll paste it. Yeah, it should be in the doc. If you go to our office hour doc, there should be a link to KEPI.
Okay.
I think that cluster API in this situation are not defining any restriction rules on upgrade process or migration of CRDs. That's supposed to be on users' decision how they want to upgrade, but they have recommendations in the documentation. So if they have been followed in upgrading versions, so you don't upgrade from very old one to the very new one, there shouldn't be any issues with that. Otherwise, it will require, I guess, intermediate version upgrade following the cluster API docs, since it's using cluster steel internal libraries inside. One weird thing which we noticed later is that cluster steel libraries are expecting to verify all other providers installed in the cluster before performing upgrade, and it may cause some issues, but it's probably related to the next topic, not this specifically.
Okay, makes sense then. Okay, I will check it and see how far I can leverage this to the case I have, and maybe I can discuss it later on, maybe next meeting or something. Yeah, thanks, guys.
I have a question, but if this is a part of the cluster CTL already, does that mean that we already have this feature provided or comes with cluster CTL? Or this needs to be extended?
So we are using these functions underneath. What you see is a part of installation process or upgrade for the provider. Once it's like there is a place in the code where it goes from manifests that are available in the release, and it uses the CRD migrator to migrate CRDs to newer versions.
Yeah, that's what I checked. That's why I was asking.
But for the running custom, like if there is already a custom resources defined, like machine or machine pool. So if this migration happens, that will affect the machine itself, or is it just like grabbing the fields and that's it? It doesn't really do much of the checking on the real machine, or
No, it will just apply the CRD itself, and then it's up to conversion webhooks to do the migration.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the storage version of the CRD that's being updated.
Yeah, in this case, if it has a gap, for example, for EPAM provider with version 1.7 cluster API, they introduced a new version of API and probably removed the previous one, so you cannot apply this without passing one version in between.
Was the answers your questions, Mohammed? Was it helpful?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So I will check. I wasn't aware of the CRD migration library, so I will check it and see like if it fit what I need, and it sounds like it will. So yeah, that's all. Yeah, like if I have more question, I will get back in this meeting and discuss it more, of course. Thanks.
Yeah, feel free. But since this is part of the CAPI, and if you have some more questions, maybe it's best to also ask the CAPI folks, CAPI maintainers, if you have some more questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for bringing this up. And thanks for the discussion, folks. The next item from Will, issue is upgrading provider using custom config. Will?
Yeah, so I'm actually not the one who raised this issue, but we recently ran into this. Basically, from what I understand, Cluster CTL runs this check to check if any other providers are lagging behind, like when it's trying to do the planning for upgrade. And for some reason, it's like it doesn't know about the other providers when it's checking them. So, because each of the controllers basically only knows about its own provider, as well as like the default list of providers when it gets passed to clusterctl. So it's throwing like a reconciliation error. And basically this is all happening for us also with like a fetch URLs, not just the fetch configs, because we don't use the config maps. And yeah, basically we can't upgrade. Like we have to delete the providers and then resync them basically to get them to upgrade. Yeah, so I was trying to like brainstorm ideas to like come up with a fix for this, but just wondering what y'all's thoughts were. If I can like clarify anything, just let me know.
I think one way you can probably try to hack this thing is that the list of known providers is not the default one in copy operator case. There is a way to provide a config map with additional provider overrides or provider sources. Like in clusterctl case, there's a file system overrides folder. You can follow the guide there, and they have clusterctl YAML file, which contains additional sources for providers. If you mount the config map with the same content into copy operator port, yeah, so it should probably work if the name matches the custom one. I know that this is just the assumption I have about this issue that maybe worth trying out before going. Well, and overall, I think that this issue is also a bit of, I don't understand why they do this cross provider checks if they don't have any metrics to verify in the first place. So maybe it's worth then discussing upstream that this issue affects cluster API operator, and maybe they can give some more context on that. I'll be interested to participate as well.
Okay, yeah, like if it was possible to like disable that with a flag or something in clusterctl, I feel like that would be a way to get around this. Okay. So you mentioned there is like a config map that we can mount into the cluster API operator. Is that correct? That has all the provider sources that I could pass into clusterctl.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I don't think we have any documentation on that specific topic, but I can point in the code, and we can also have a look into improving coverage in that area.
Okay, that'd be helpful. And then how does that relate to the cluster? I noticed there was also the clusterctl YAML file. Like, is that the like .clusterctl YAML that has the provider list?
Yeah, that's just a config map representation of this. When you mount it, goes into file system, matches the correct config directory, expected one, and then it just treats this as a local file system overrides folder for establishing some things. It has limitations currently. It only allows to add fetch config, essentially a representation of URLs for custom providers, but nothing else. So no set manager changes can be like done through this. So I think that images overrides overall for providers are not working, even though tests were added. It needs to follow up on that anyway, but providers can be used there, so you don't have to specify always fetch config for copy operator providers if you have one.
Okay. Cool. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had.
I thought we have documentation, Daniel. on the CAPI operator book. If not, probably we should add it to the book. I'll open the issue in that case.
I'll follow up with the link in a second. I just need to.
Yeah, sure. Is there anything that other folks want to add regarding this?
All good for my end.
Yeah, I'll just triage this. I think it has the label already. So the consensus was, do we all agree that we have to talk to CAPI maintainers about this? Or we have to come up with something in the CAPI operator itself?
Probably, like from my perspective, the cleanest solution would be for it to get fixed upstream. So like we could basically skip that check for all the other providers. Like the other solution sounded kind of like a workaround to pass the config map of providers into cluster CTL.
Right. I'll just leave a note so that it's there. This we have something. And yeah, this is trash accepted. We should go through the issues at some point in one of the meetings. There are a lot of them, but probably not for today. But yeah, let's see. And yeah, I think Daniel is pasting the link. All right. If there is nothing more on this topic, I don't see any other agenda topics on the list. Is there something that you want to bring up in the last minute?
Yeah, can we add this meeting to the calendar, to the cluster PBI calendar? I didn't get it, so I just got the email.
Yeah. So there was a problem. Actually, I asked the cluster Lifecycle SIG people to like basically request the Zoom room and then have the calendar invite, but I think they said like that since there are a lot of meetings and they're colliding, it will not be, will not be on the Kubernetes calendar. So I'll follow up with them and see how I can solve this. One way probably I could just create the calendar invite from my personal account and send it out on the mailing list, and whoever wants to, be notified, they can just accept it. But that's a backup solution that I in my mind. The best would be having it on the Kubernetes calendar as Cappy and other providers have it.
Well, this will be appreciated. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll take a note of it and follow up on this. All right. If there are no agenda items, we can stop the meeting here. We have 25 minutes, or we can go through the CAPI operator issues if you guys are okay with that. I'm fine with both. Skipping it also or going through them. So just need your opinions and votings maybe. Do you want to do it today?
I'm fine with going through the issues.
But to be honest, I have to drop. I have another meeting. So maybe you guys feel free to do it. Thanks everyone. See you in the next meeting then.
Yeah. See you, Mohammed. Thanks for joining. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure. I haven't gone through them, so and there are some of them. 25. This is from the last year. Let's see. We can go through them as much as we have time. I'm not sure if we can triage all of them, but if you folks are here, we can do so. So I started from the beginning, or from the oldest one here. The mic is not here, but this looks very old, at least version of operator and caddy, which is not supported anymore.
Currently, operator follows the behavior of cluster cattle. We don't delete CRDs. We only do it there is an option to delete CRDs. They support it. You have to pass an argument when you do delete of provider, but you need to. But like we just hard coded it to false, so it doesn't delete CRDs. And
Yeah.
I guess we can just close it since it's old and no one else asked for it.
Yeah, I believe so. Is it configurable, Alex? How do you pass some kind of flag to delete or not delete the CRDs?
There is no way to do it from API, but in the code it's possible to do this. We just hard coded it to not do it. So if we ever wanted to get back to this, we can just add an API field.
Right. All right. Hopefully I got what you said. So I'm pressing the close button. Or probably it should have been not planned. I think. I'm not sure I can do it. Okay, yeah. Thanks. The next one. Move management cluster into workload cluster. I'd have to read it. Yeah, okay. Now I think I remember we had this plugin for the operator. I think it's this one that you linked, Alex. And this is one of them. I think this is upgrade plan. Did we implement the move? Probably not yet, right?
No, that would involve probably many additional operations to perform that.
Yeah.
I actually looked into this issue a little bit, and I wasn't sure kind of like the interface of like how this should work, like if this is gonna happen like declaratively. Yeah, wasn't super familiar with the context behind like why choosing to use cluster API operator move over just using cluster CTL. So like for us, we just use the cluster CTL move to do it, and then we install the cluster API operator afterwards. So like what the value add would be.
I think cluster API operator allows to store some context of the, well, I guess all the clusters inside the definitions in the cluster itself, so it's not local environment. But cluster CTL, well, the thing I'm worried about is cluster CTL move works with cluster CTL provider resources, and it expects that someone or something should create the infrastructure for those providers beforehand, while KP operator already have the whole state of installations in the cluster. So moving those things would involve moving everything, including installation of KP operator, ideally, or it won't be possible. But it's an interesting, I guess, approach, and it can help migrating. So, for example, if the plugin can move all the secrets assigned to existing infrastructure together with components it moves, maybe it can work, but it definitely needs lots of integration with cluster CTL code. That's what I think. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's very easy. This needs to investigate it.
Gotcha. So if I understand correctly, like when you use cluster CTL move, basically it's just gonna move over like all the resources it knows about, like machine pools and control planes and stuff like that. But like cluster API operator move would also move over the providers that the cluster API operator manages as well, basically the entire installation. And that would be kind of the value you would get from this.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense. And would that happen, like that would happen via the command line, right? Basically, like that plugin, instead of like happening declaratively.
Well, if it goes the route of plugin, it's a question to Alex, since he was the last one to comment on this issue.
I think it's tricky because we implemented, I think, the upgrade plan as a plugin, but how would you trigger the move on the API level?
Well, I basically implemented the move basically just to copy what was in cluster.ctl, but I wasn't sure like how like what the value of it was. I don't remember if
exactly.
I might have just copied stuff in. I'm not even sure. It was a while ago. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's like you can just programmatically call it. It's not super neat for us anyway, so
Yeah, I saw my comment that this was actually on the non-goals of the initial proposal, where the move was not actually the goal, probably, if I'm reading it correctly.
yeah.
But yeah, this is debating. I'm not sure if I should triage it or if it needs more clarification or more motivation why we need it, if we need it all actually. So what do you folks think?
I think we can just close this issue for now, since it's like old, and even if we have some open questions, we can maybe open the issue or come back to it later.
Yeah, that's also one possibility. I'll just comment. Right. This looks for me. What was this? Yeah. I think it is still the case, but this is it needs a small update to the doc, so it shouldn't be a big thing. I'll just accept it. Next one, customize duplication warnings. Okay, someone assigned it. And why I unassigned them? Interesting. I think there was some mistake from my side, but I'll just ping the person. I'm not sure why I unassigned them. Do we have
That's
this
actually my
issue
coworker.
anymore? Sorry?
I can send him a message too. That's actually my coworker.
Yeah, actually this looks like a duplicate of had one issue. Probably not here. Okay, so it was in a different repo. But basically, we have to bump the customize to the new version, customized version V5, and that is needed or at least recommended by this. So to uplift the CAPI 1.8, they have the customize bumped, as far as I know. So we need to follow that to do it, and I believe that will cover this one also, these deprecations, because with the new version of customize, they will be basically these patches and replacements will be removed and replaced. But yeah, I'll just comment for now, and I think it has all the labels there. Going to the next one. I think it's this one. Oh, this is the long one. Alex, do you think this is still something that you want to look into in the future? Although I have to read this is long.
Yeah, that's a complicated one. We partially cover this by including option to deploy carry providers with Helm chart, but there are still some issues there. I don't know, maybe we can close the issue for now. It's like more than 1 year old, so let's just close it as an old one now.
Sorry, I was muted. So this is also from last year.
Yeah, we can close it, I think, and if needed, fields that are required can be added to the API.
Also want to make comment since I think there is a workaround for this.
Sorry, folks, I didn't quite get it. What was the argument that you said? Is it exposed through the deployment spec, or we cannot really have that strategy on the spec?
I think there's like the JSON merge field too, right? If you like need to override something specific.
Yeah, there's a way to pass patches to anything, including things which are not supported by default configuration. it should work.
Yeah, so the manifest patch. Right, I'll just closing it. We have 5 minutes. Probably one more issue. This seems to be recent. And it's triage accepted. Yeah, it seems to be like a feature that we can support. I can add the helm wanted probably if someone has time, but this makes sense to me. It's, there is an PR to close this, I believe. Yeah. I'll just try to accept it. Right. I think this would be the last one. And this is huge. Are we installing Search Manager as part of the copy operator Helm chart, or did we remove it? I don't recall.
We totally removed it.
Yeah, so I think that they got it working by installing the Search Manager. So I'll just probably close this.
Does the docs include the requirement to install Search Manager separately for copy operator?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure. Looks like we have in prerequisites, Search Manager is installed.
Great.
Yeah. So we should remove this.
Well, there is definitely a Helm chart ambiguity here still, but hope that's enough.
Yeah. I think I'll create the issue to remove this from the prerequisites. But for this one, probably I'll just close this. All right, I think we are almost on time. And we can continue the remaining of the issue triaging in the next meeting if we have time. Is there anything that you want to still discuss? The last, or we can drop? Yeah, I think we can drop. Thanks, folks, for joining, and see you
Thanks.
in 1 month. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.